What's going on, Copper fam? Ellie here, and welcome to the latest episode of Copper 90's World of Football, the show that puts you, the fans, in charge of talking about the issues that are important in your area. In this episode, we're talking about FIFA's new president, Gianni Infantino. We're heading to America where MLS kicks off another season. We're heading to London to see how Clapton FC celebrated Anti-Homophobia Month. And we're finishing in Spain where another historic club faces massive economic troubles. But let's start off with FIFA, where last year's scandal has seen the FIFA Extraordinary Congress elect a brand new president, Gianni Infantino.
When he was nominated, the reason was because Platini, his boss as president of UEFA, this was supposed to be his job, this was supposed to be his coronation. But when he was suspended initially for these corruption allegations, suddenly Infantino was Europe's only horse in the race. But he's now seen as a very steady pair of hands because the alternative would have been Sheikh Salman, whose human rights allegations, I think, if he would have won, would have dominated for years to come, and I think that would have pretty much been the end of FIFA. What kind of FIFA can we expect under Infantino? Nobody really knows, because nobody knows much about his platform other than this ridiculous plan to expand the World Cup to 40 teams. But what we can be sure of is that the big European football clubs reasserting their power over European football. Suddenly you have all the major clubs talking about a European Super League, that clubs aren't getting their fair share of the money that should be generated from football. A vote for Infantino, and I think the success of his candidacy, yes, it's going to be a steady hand on the till, but it's also going to be more power to European clubs, more power to the leagues, and less power for Africa and Asia, which has traditionally been the power base under Blatter and before then João Havelange.
Well, I tell you what, I've been following this FIFA scandal passionately for years, and I can tell you we are nowhere near the end of the saga. But it's vital in the meantime that us as fans, the media, and of course the US authorities keep those FIFA officials on their toes. And speaking of the US, MLS has returned for another season, and Prez from In Search of North America is here to tell us more about the ever-growing fan culture in the United States.
Now more than any time else, the world is perking up to the American fan. You know, you have your Seattle Sounders, you have your Portland Timbers, you have these amazing fan groups that whenever they go and clash, the world is taking notice. You have European ultras chilling with guys who've grown up in the Barra Brava culture, and they smash it together, and you don't see that anywhere. Down a few miles, you have the Timbers Army with the Portland Timbers, and their curva is now world-renowned. Their tifos are featured in blogs all over the world, you know. Polish ultras are taking notice of the tifo culture that's developing in Cascadia. In the middle, you have Sporting Kansas City with the Cauldron. Every game sold out, you know. They're singing for 90 minutes, they're passionate. Now, it's not only MLS fans that are doing this. Groups are popping up all over the country for any kind of team, you know, NPSL, NASL, USL. You have the Northern Guard who support a 4th Division team, fill up their end every game. They fan-funded a renovation of a historic stadium in the middle of Detroit. You have fans in Minnesota, the Dark Clouds. You have the 5 Points in New York for the Cosmos, you know, shooting pyro, smoke, everything you can imagine. So when you go to a game in North America, don't only look at the players on the field. Take a glance over to the terraces because you won't be disappointed.
Well, that fan culture Prez talks about really is growing at a rapid rate, and it's the reason Copper 90 and I have been so fortunate to head over to America and experience it for ourselves. And I can tell you from seeing it firsthand, it is the key to growing the game in America. But let's head over to London now, where Clapton FC fans have celebrated Football vs Homophobia Month at a recent home game.
It started as a group of people who were disenfranchised with the football that they were going to see. They wanted to see something different. The people who started going to the first games, we had a common political kind of social outlook. We didn't know at the time necessarily that that's what we wanted to express through football. There were a lot of football fans that felt like they couldn't go to games, not just because of money, but also because of racism, because of homophobia, because of sexism, because of transphobia. And that was one of the things that kind of brought people together. this is what football was supposed to be. It was supposed to be fun. We were supposed to be able to watch the game and not spend like too much money. And today, the Football Against Homophobia Day is the best example of that.
It's all about football for everyone, so that's what the initiative is for. And as you can see today, it's all about bringing the fans and the players and everyone together.
Fantastic to see there. At Copenhagen, we often go on about football's responsibility to help out with other causes, and it really is heartwarming to see Clapton FC fans once again demonstrating this. But let's head over to Spain now, where the country's oldest club, Recreativo Huelva, are on the brink of extinction.
Like some other football clubs in Spain in the recent years, Recreativo de Huelva is struggling to survive. Their fans gathered this weekend in the stadium to support the club, who is suffering very disastrous management in the recent years. 126 years ago, Recreativo was founded just 9 years before Athletic Club Bilbao, 10 years before FC Barcelona, or 15 years before Real Madrid came to life. Recreativo de Huelva is now facing very critical problems that threatens its survival. On the pitch, they are trying to avoid relegation to Spanish Tercera División, but the most important challenge is being held off the pitch. With 22 million euros debt, it seems that they will need more than just fan support in order to save the oldest club in Spain.
Clubs like Eibar and Real Oviedo have suffered similar situations, but were fortunately saved when the international football community helped financially support their trust. Now, Huelva have set up a similar trust and are looking to get the same support. Well, that's it for another episode of Copenhagen's World of Football. Make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel, and most importantly, leave a comment telling us what stories you'd like to hear in the next ep. We'd also like to extend a massive thank you to all our contributors, and we're going to leave you with some of the best fan footage from around the world.